Dr. Zhu. I'm the composition and also a piano professor here at Pierce. Some familiar faces, some newish faces. Welcome. If this is your first composition presentation attendance, I especially want to thank you for being here. I know it's required, but it's very important for you to be here. For a composer, having your piece presented and premiered in any format, either live performance or through recorded, is it's as important as playing or singing a recital for an instrumentalist or a singer. And having you here to experience the first public presentation of a new piece is incredibly important. And you as the audience, your reception is really critical to composers' sense of how the piece is going and what they're working on. All of these pieces are this semester are slightly works in progress. There's some big news, at least in my studio, which will be announced at the end of the. I guess it's going to be covered in today's presentations, but you'll learn about that this week and next week during the presentations. And so please enjoy. And if you have any questions, if you're considering doing AMP composition or music production, please feel free to see me afterwards. And so without further ado, we're going to start off with Sebastian.
Hello everyone, I'm Sebastian. This is Sebastian Presentation 183 by Sebastian. Hello, I'm Sebastian. I'm a composition/piano student in my third semester of AMP. Forgot to change that. I graduated high school in 2019 from Chatsworth High School, and I didn't start taking music classes until around 2021 fall, and I've only ever done music through here. I've listed two of my main inspirations. The first one is Michael Salvatore. Songs I really like from him are from Destiny 2. He did Deep Stone Lullaby and The First Disciple. And my second main inspiration is Chris Delulu. He did music for Risk of Rain 2, and songs I really like from him from that game are The Rain Forming Owns Purple and Con la Tu Poderosa. I did three things this semester. I did a transposition of a song from Super Metroid, at a variations piece, and I wrote a sax quartet. Okay. Not Warfare is the name of my transcription. It is from Warfare and Super Metroid. And it was a summer project turned into like the first 2 weeks of my composition lessons. It was mainly just trying to see if I can take like the MIDI from the 90s and seeing if I can make it acoustic. And I will play like the first 20 seconds of that for you guys right now. Variations. It was based off of Chaconne variations. Each variation is based on a basic chord progression, and if everyone uses the same bass line, it was mainly just to see if I could write, because I usually just write freely. I don't usually like stick to music theory or anything like that, and it was just trying to see if I could develop a melodic line that was tied to a specific harmonic progression, and that is right here. And this is the big project of the semester. And that title actually was the first title I ever put there, and it stuck. Experiment Yes. It is a sax quartet. I had no idea if they could breathe during what I wrote, but I learned that the sax players could breathe. And the format is a 8/8 reverse format. But the A section, I kind of misunderstood what was going on in our lessons, and I fully just reversed the A section after the B. So I will show that off now.
was a section there that you took from Lavender Town. No?
Nope.
Oh, it really sounded like it at, like in the midway.
Why did you specifically choose a saxophone tip?
Honestly, it kind of just landed on that because I couldn't find what group I wanted to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know if this was on purpose, but I like that you added like the first 4 notes of Careless Whisper to some of the things.
I was told that, but no, I was not thinking of Careless Whisper when I wrote that.
Okay, cool. Good questions.
Welcome to what should be the final James Early composition presentation.
No.
Instruments I played the drums for about 13 years, tenor saxophone for about 5, voice for about 10. I've been composing since 2016. I use Logic Pro X, the best one. Favorite genre to write is of course metal, but I also like writing electronic and I also like to score things. Musical history and influences, raised on old rock and metal, grew to love extreme metal, got back into the old stuff, and then I got out more, which was fun. We'll get to that later. Fall semester, I developed my scoring skills. I relearned how to use Sibelius, which is a scoring application. Progressed my career plan and further practiced video editing. Those 2 projects there, level 0 is the AMP project, made for a wind ensemble, and then Godseeker, which was a personal project, a metal song. Level 0, so this was the AMP project that I think 4 or 5 of us got, to write a piece for a wind ensemble intended for the Pierce Symphonic Band to actually play next semester. Each movement is themed after a level of video game. I got a tutorial, and we had to incorporate a pre-written melody, which is that guy up there. For me, it was a new challenge, but it was really fun. Here's a little. Awesome. Here's a little mood board and the sound itself. lessons learned from that, how to give each element of the ensemble importance, how to write MIDI, which is like the computer's version of the music notes. In preparation for scoring, it's tough, but it's forgiving since you don't really need to obsess with how it's sounding, since it's intended for a live musician. And relearning Sibelius, which is also tough and not forgiving because that program is awesome. All right, up next, Godseeker. Godseeker is a concept piece. A person gets human sacrifice, then it comes back. Story about revenge. This was a death metal song, so it's going to be intense. And warning, the video does have footage, like stock footage with fake blood in it. So if you're uncomfortable with that, please feel free to step outside or avert your gaze or whatever you want. Thank you guys so much. Great piece here. Thank you for everybody who made the meeting possible. And goodbye. That's not supposed to be there on the bottom, but you get the point. Thank you guys.
Okay, so I have one questionable ones like first one for level 0. What was the influence behind it? Because I feel like it's similar to what you would hear if you played Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, there was definitely some Zelda stuff. There was a picture
Yeah.
of Ocarina of Time, and then Elden Ring, that intro, and then I played a lot of Kirby as a kid,
Okay.
so that also kind of influenced it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Second thing, the video you did reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you know Suicide Boys, how
Yeah,
they're
I've seen it.
seen. So similar to that, I love it honestly.
Thank you, thank you. You. So I don't know your name. I never met you. Sophie. Okay, sorry.
So everywhere we will stream God Seeker.
Yeah, I'm putting it out on YouTube very soon. Dave.
I'm just kind of curious what qualities of like tutorials did you pull from
Kind of that subtle, like, it hasn't started yet, so it's not supposed to kind of like be bombastic. You're still kind of like getting the controls down. You're still like, where am I? What's going on? And it's kind of supposed to be a little mysterious, but not necessarily like foreboding, because it's supposed to make you excited to go out. So I wanted to capture some like triumphant feelings, but also some like mysterious feelings. There's also a bit of an inspiration from Dry Docks or something. You know what I'm talking about? Dire Docks. Yeah, yeah. With the piano chords I use. So yeah, kind of a mishmash of all that stuff. Basil?
From a composition standpoint on Godseeker, do you ever experiment with taking like the main riff and the chorus and doing it in like halftime? Because I know like it's not the death note.
Yeah, I actually did. There was supposed to be like a bass solo in there, and the riff like slowed down, but it just didn't fit with the structure of the song, so I cut it. It's actually in the project. It's like way over to the right in case I ever wanted it. But for now, it's just living there. Sebastian. Sorry, Angela.
I just want to know, how long did Godseeker take? Like music and like video editing?
Well, I started working on it over the break, and I finished it in the beginning of the semester. I write really fast, but that project is incredibly dense. There's all the metal, there's all the orchestral components, like everything proprietary. I didn't use any samples or anything like that. So I had to write all of it by hand, and it took a hot minute. I actually finished. I did like a remix of it last night to make it kind of better for the speakers. So a long time, but yeah.
In terms of influence for Godseeker, I'm guessing you pulled influence from Doom. Yeah, the only
little.
thing here is you for that intro riff.
I do love the Doom soundtrack, so maybe rattling around in the back of there.
Yeah.
But I was actually inspired more by a band called Shadow of Intent, which does a lot of stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and that's like the main inspiration.
Yeah, I would say.
Any others that kind of found their way into
Yeah, there's a band I saw live. There's like, he was in the pictures I put up there called Disembodied Tyrant, which is like a guy my age doing that all by himself, and that's super inspiring. So.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex.
I wanted to ask, you said the composition did take a hot minute, but there are other parts to it. I'm guessing you mastered it. How long did that take, if you did?
I do all of it at the same time. So like
Okay.
writing and mixing and mastering, mastering's at the end, but writing and mixing, I do it at the same time, because like I'll write something and be like, all right, so like how do I fit that into how the song's going? And there's a bunch of automation and like changing how stuff is like quieter or louder depending on where you are in the song, and how everything fits together, like all the plugins I use to make sure that like everything's reacting and causing everything to get out of the way if it needs to. It's
Sidechaining?
yeah, it's a lot of like minute detail, but at the end it's worth it because it makes it sound better. Naya, sorry.
For this last piece we had, I thought it was really cool to like hear your like the softer part of your singing voice. Like that was really cool. I was wondering like if there was an intention behind like the contrast, because you had like the really heavy parts and then
Yeah.
the softer parts of it.
Definitely, the story of Godseeker is like right, that guy comes back to life and takes revenge on the people who sacrificed him, and so like the whole point of the song is like speaking to the rest of the people who were sacrificed who didn't come back. So that he's taking revenge not only for himself or themselves, but for them too. So like the softer part is like how they see him as like a savior, and then the heavy part is like how people he's seeking revenge on see him as this like monster. So
Sweet, thanks very much.
thank you guys.
First and foremost, I kind of want to welcome everybody who came. If this is your first composition presentation attendance, welcome. If this is not, welcome back. All right. My name is Sam Fernandez, and this is my second composition presentation, so let's get started. So, first I want to talk about myself, my musical journey, my influences and that kind of thing. I first started music in elementary school when I joined my school choir. It was more or less a free way to get out of class for about an hour every day, but I mean it was fun, so I stuck with it for my entire elementary school days. And then when I got to middle school, I decided I wanted to pursue music, and I wanted to pursue it through saxophone. So I actually signed up for my middle school marching band, symphonic band, and the jazz ensemble. And I actually liked it so much that I just kept going with it through high school. In high school, I had to make a decision of which passion do I want to continue with. Do I want to continue with my music passion or my engineering passion? And so I actually chose my engineering passion. But I didn't give up on music. I actually formed a rock band and actually sang, played guitar for it, and also wrote music. So yeah, it was great. But I'm here, so the engineering part didn't really work out. So I came back to Pierce to actually pursue music composition because I just fell in love with, expressing my ideas through music. Yeah, currently I am in the age of resurgence, as I like to call it. So my musical influences, I actually listen to a lot of indie pop, a lot of Japanese pop. Some examples for indies would be Frico and Benny. I don't know if you guys heard of them. Yeah, love Benny. Oh my gosh. And then Japanese pop, of course, Bondi, Yaosobi, those are the modern ones. I love Tatsuro Yamashita. Does anybody know Tatsuro Yamashita? No?
Yes.
Nice. And then besides like the more popular music, I also listen to like modern composers. So a good one would be Kevin Penkin. He's an Australian composer who writes for a lot of like anime. One that he did here was Power Goodbye. And then the next one is probably like the GOAT of anime composers. His name is Hiroyuki Sawano. You probably know him from his compositions for Attack on Titan, for Soul Leveling. I mean, honestly, what hasn't he done? So, he's very famous, very good. And then I've also been playing video games all my life. So some of these games have soundtracks that are just ingrained in my mind. A good example would be Kingdom Hearts. And then of course the GOAT, Wizard 101. Anybody? Yeah, right? If you guys know the Wiz, you know the fire compositions that come from that game. Okay, so let's talk about my piece. I'm gonna talk about the vibe, what I was going for, what I kind of wanted. So as James talked about earlier, we were tasked with writing specific biomes for our pieces. My biome is actually the forest. And when I think of forest, I think of like dark, mysterious, woody. I don't know if that means I'm a sad boy or what, but that's what I think of when I think of forest, right? So I wanted to convey that dark, mysterious feeling to the key, and the key of this piece is actually B flat minor. I also wanted to convey like denseness of the forest, and I did that through just having like more instruments play more, like all at once. So like for instance, the marimba here just constantly playing, constantly having notes being played. And then, of course, forest means woody, which means woodwinds, right? So this song is very like woodwind heavy, and it usually has this bass of the rest of the instruments playing their chord, like a B flat minor chord. So as you can see here in the bottom, there's many instruments playing, but they're pretty much just playing a B flat minor chord. Nice. So let's talk about some challenges, because this piece is actually a complete like 180 of what I usually write for. I usually write like indie pop stuff, Or if I do write instrumental, it's usually like solo piano or like small chamber groups. So now with this piece, I'm writing a full ensemble, which is crazy. Not something I've really done before. So I've faced some challenges doing that, especially because I'm also writing for an education environment. So there's also issues with that. So some of the challenges that I faced was, I'm the type of writer where if I want a sound, I'll just kind of put it in, and if that sound never shows up again, oh, right, I got the sound I want. But you can't really do that in an education environment, you know. You don't want to like leave people out, because it's not cool, right? So I had to find a way to basically incorporate everybody in any place that I can. So I did that through variation configurations. So basically what I did is, I had the skeleton of the piece, and then I found instruments that were just completely absent, and kind of found a way to like incorporate them. And usually that's through like having them play something similar to the other instruments, just slightly different. That's one way. Another thing that I found was difficult was writing for a variety of skill. So we're in an education environment. We're not all professionals yet. So all of us didn't start at the same skill level. And I wanted to make something that was approachable, but also not like boring. So I did that through like mixing some very difficult sections with also some very easy sections. So it feels approachable to musicians. Another thing that I found was difficult was incorporating all of that, but still having this like professional sound standard that I have. You know, I don't want to release a piece that I'm not satisfied with, right? So I have to do that through careful orchestration, basically finding ways to make everything sound good, but also to make it feel approachable. Again, through different ways, difficulties. Then lastly, the big question I had was instrumentation question. I mean, we're part of school band, so we're not always going to have every instrument under the sun to be able to play. And so I had to basically find a way to keep my musical ideas in there, but not have them disappear if, like, one semester there's no, let's say, oboe, for instance, right? So I did that through basically sharing musical ideas with several instruments. Yeah. So the next piece, or the next part that I kind of learned this semester was thinking about the 4 elements of a piece. So we all know the melody, we all know the bass, we all know the harmony. But one thing I always neglected was embellishments. You know, these small musical ideas that are just kind of like in there. Like sometimes you'll never hear it, but it's just different enough that it adds like a good shape to the sound. As I put up there, it adds a little bit of spice. And that's what I never really thought about before. So okay, let's talk about the actual piece, right? So this piece has a overarching story. And the main character of the story are actually the flutes. So that means the flutes are going to get the main motif that you'll hear throughout the piece. And the other instruments, the remaining woodwinds, usually just are playing the harmony to give like more depth to that harmony. The battle, yes. So here is the middle section. This is where like it kind of changes, where the idea is the main character is engaging in a battle, right? So this is where we incorporate the hero theme. And you actually heard this theme a little bit in James's piece previously. And it's actually something you'll be hearing throughout all the compositions in one form or another. And that all builds up to the big moment, to the conclusion of the battle. And then finally, leaving the forest. I had this idea that the forest doesn't really tell you when it's going to end, it kind of just ends, right? So I thought, what's the best way to convey that? And that's through basically restating the introduction. Like you go in, or you come out the same way you go in, that same mysterious feeling. So yeah, now that I'm done talking about like the creation of it, let's listen to it, yeah? Woo!
general composition question, but how do you determine when a composition is finished, like the finished product?
Actually, whenever the composition students and I talk, I always, I don't remember who said this. I think it was, I actually don't remember who said this, but it was a composer who basically said, there's never really a finished composition, there's only abandoned compositions. And this is something that I feel satisfied with, but I mean, I can probably toot this to the end of the earth, so. Yeah. Any questions? Thank you, thank you.
I love this kind of soundtrack where you have like complex, have simple sounds working together, creating a very complex soundtrack.
Thank you, thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you. Angela.
What was that? were those Sibelius instruments, or because they sounded?
No,
better
they're
than-
actually, so during the run through, you saw the Sibelius. This is actually my sound library that I first wrote the skeleton of the piece on. So, yeah, the Sibelius instrumentation kind of.
It's really good.
Bad. Oh, yeah, it's really, really good. It's really, really good.
In quotes.
We love Sibelius.
Yes, of course. Sibelius is amazing. Isaiah?
Great composition, bro. That little section really took me back to like my childhood. Like I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts as well. So I'm just wondering, is there a certain level in the game that makes you think like, ooh, I want to go into this direction in this composition?
Yeah, so, I kind of pulled a little bit from, like a tiny bit, not too much. Do you remember the Hollow Bastion level from Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly right. Yeah. I pulled a little bit from that. I kind of wanted that, like, that little, like, brassy, like, punch tone in the middle from Hollow Bastion.
For the last note of the piece, did you add that bell on purpose to create that hickory third sound?
Yeah, so
That's really
initially actually it was chimes, but Sibelius chimes are bad. They're great, of course, they're great. So I ended up changing. Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donald, and this is my second composition presentation. So, a little bit about myself is I first learned to play violin in my middle school orchestra, and then I continued to play for 1 year in my high school orchestra, and then a little break in between, and then another year in my high school orchestra. And then between those 2 years, I took AP Music Theory and the Music Tech class. And currently, I am in my 3rd semester of Music Theory and Musicianship at Pierce College. So, initially, over the summer, Dr. Zhu sent us an email asking if we would like to write for the symphonic band, and we said, of course, yeah. So, I wrote a little desert piece before we all met together. I showed Daniel it, and then he said that was pretty cool, and he suggested that we should probably write like kind of like a video game OST for like each biome. And then after we had our first like studio group Zoom meeting, we decided that we were gonna restructure some of the biomes, and then I ended up with the jungle instead of the desert. So as I don't really know too much about the jungle, I listened to a bunch of scores. Originally, the first score I listened to was the Amazonas by Villa Lobos, and then that taught me that the jungle is like a very busy place, very hustle and bustle kind of place. And eventually, me and Dr. Ju came to the conclusion that it would be better for me to write a piece that kind of sounded like a Nintendo kind of jungle OST. So he made me listen to more jazz-inspired music, like the jungle level of the Donkey Kong Country game. Woo! And then after that, we listened to Tank by the Seatbelts. So apart from those scores, another like artist I listened to a lot while composing my piece was Yuji Ono. If you don't know him, he's one of the main composers for the Lupin the Third series. And then some of the pieces I listened to the most were the 2015 main theme from Lupin, the Samba Temperado, also 2015, and then Tornado, 2018. So what we talked about in our lessons, since I don't really listen to jazz too often, we talked about the blues scale a bunch. Or not a bunch, but we talked about it. And then it's just the first, the third, the fourth, and then the raised fourth, and then the fifth, and then the seventh of the minor pentatonic scale. And also, we also talked about comping, which is just rhythms, so soloists can like have some place to, so they can have a foothold to know where to lead their melodies. We also talked about some basic jazz chord progressions. One of the chord progressions I used in my piece was the 12-bar blues, but it's a little different from it, but it's mostly that. We also talked a bit about orchestration, about like which parts should get which, how long each part should be playing for. For example, woodwinds have like 2/3 of the melody, and then brass are playing a little bit less than that, just so their timbre like has a more dramatic Baroque feel to it. So for like, I saved that parts for like those instruments. So some difficulties and solutions. I don't really play or listen to jazz too often, so to solve that issue, I listened to more jazz this semester, trying to train my ear to understand more of those melodies. Another thing I had to work on was writing an upbeat, tribal kind of percussion group. So to solve that, I listened to more of the Donkey Kong OST, and then I also score studied it, so I can like kind of reference the patterns. So coming up with ideas, since I don't listen to jazz that often, I also had to reference other jazz pieces to get to generate some ideas from them, and then also writing for every instrument / orchestrating in an educational way. Sam mentioned it also in his, where not everyone's going to be at the same skill level, so we have to write for a variety of skills. And then also making sure performers have enough time to breathe. Since a symphonic band is mostly composed of woodwinds and brass, they have to breathe, not like string players or percussionists. So this is the hero motif. It is it's spread around through most of the piece. Like mostly the main four, or the four perfect, or the two perfect fourth leads are spread throughout the piece to kind of introduce the melody before actually like playing the whole thing. And then the structure of the piece is a rondo, where it goes from the first theme into the next phrase, or into the next form, and then it kind of like, it goes back and forth between the first material and then a new material, and then the first and then another new, and then it returns to the first. And here it is. Oh, it's right here, it's fine.
Is the headphone jack in all the way?
It is. I'm gonna take off mine.
Oh, check that you're going to Extron the speaker.
Okay. It is. I kind of hear it, but it's kind of like popping.
Try to usually external headphones if you're plugged in.
Oh, okay.
Woo!
questions? Yeah, Ethan.
I was wondering what were your influences for some of the pieces for the jazz, the drumming specifically?
Drumming, just mostly the Donkey Kong pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got a lot.
Khalil?
Man, that sent me back to Pokemon Black and White.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the scratching ideas. It was cool how you have them doing all back and forth stuff. They're filling up the space really nicely. My main question is about instrumentation. Did you make sure that everything that you had written out was possible for the instruments to play? Because I saw one line in one of the milling instruments where it was 8 letter lines below the staff.
Yeah, I think that was the French horn probably. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was able to play. Cause usually if it's not able to play, the score's probably gonna not let it happen.
Oh.
So yeah.
You left it in concert pitch, that's why.
Oh, did I? Oh. Yeah, my bad.
For French horn, that would be cool, but in concert pitch, it looks good.
I think, did you have your hand up earlier?
Yeah, but.
Oh, okay. Naya?
So I know you mentioned you took a lot of inspiration from Donkey Kong and stuff. I was wondering if you had as you were composing, there was a certain image that you were in that you wanted to put out?
I have an image in my mind. Not really. I thought about a jungle. There was a jungle in my mind, but that was it. Alex?
If you had unlimited time to work on this kind of project, what do you think you would add and or change?
And or change? Probably add more to the percussion, because I feel like that was a bit lacking. And then maybe some of the harmonies, but that's about it.
I don't know, I've only seen you perform with workshop. I had no idea you were a comp major as well. So that's really cool. This is awesome. It was super fun. And I love the ending note as well.
Alright, thank you. Ed?
Keep listening to jazz, man. I like the direction that your comp is going in.
Thanks.
What's up, my name is Maurice, and I really liked the beat. It was so much fun. I felt like I was listening to French Polynesian, which is something important to me. Tell me something. Do you like jazz if it's more fun and upbeat?
I like jazz if it's more fun or upbeat.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, because in the old days they used to have a dance called the J Bar. They play a lot of that at jazz clubs.
I don't think I like jazz. I like jazz if it's in general, but if it's more upbeat, that's cool. But I've been listening to recently I've been listening to a more Steely Dan. It's not really upbeat, but it's more laid back, more chill. So I kind of like both.